When a woman stops texting first, most men immediately assume something went wrong, that they said the wrong thing, waited too long to reply, showed too much interest, or lost attraction somehow overnight. But the truth is far more psychological and far less personal than most men realize, and misunderstanding this moment is exactly what traps men into anxiety, overtexting, and chasing behaviors that quietly destroy their leverage. When her initiation disappears, her mind is not in chaos, it's in evaluation mode, and that distinction matters more than anything. A woman doesn't stop texting first randomly, she stops when the emotional dynamic has shifted from curiosity to certainty, from interest to comfort, or from desire to control. Early on, when attraction is new, a woman initiates because her mind is curious, uncertain, and emotionally engaged. She's testing connection, exploring chemistry, and subconsciously asking herself whether this man can hold his ground without chasing her approval. But once she feels she has emotional access to you without effort, her mind relaxes into a passive role. Not because she hates you, not because she's playing games, but because psychologically she no longer feels the need to invest to maintain the connection. Most men miss this because they interpret her replies as proof of interest, when in reality, replies are often just politeness or habit, not desire. The real signal is initiative, because initiative requires emotional risk, and when a woman stops taking that risk, it means something inside her mind has settled. What settles is the question of whether you'll stay even if she pulls back. When you've already shown her that you'll text first, follow up, explain yourself, and keep things alive regardless of her effort, her brain categorizes you as emotionally available on demand. And once that categorization happens, her behavior changes automatically. Her mind no longer asks, will he show up? It assumes you will. And the moment she assumes, she stops reaching. This is where most men make their biggest mistake. Instead of recognizing the shift and adjusting their position, they panic internally and increase effort externally. They text more, they check in more, they try to recreate the early spark through consistency instead of presence. But the female mind doesn't respond to pressure the way the male mind does. What she experiences isn't reassurance, it's saturation. Too much availability flattens emotional polarity. Desire requires space to move. When there is no space, there is no movement. So when she stops texting first, her mind is subconsciously asking a question most men never hear. Will he still be grounded if I step back? Will he hold his frame or will he chase? Is his confidence internal or does it depend on my attention? And the answer to that question is determined entirely by how you respond to her silence. If you rush in to fill the gap, her mind registers dependency. If you match the distance with calm, her mind registers strength. This is not manipulation, this is perception. Women are wired to read emotional stability through behavior, not words. A man who remains centered when attention fluctuates communicates emotional safety. A man who becomes restless communicates emotional risk, and emotional risk does not attract. That's why when a woman stops texting first, it often has nothing to do with another man and everything to do with how predictable the dynamic has become. Her mind craves stimulation, not through chaos but through polarity. Polarity exists when both people are choosing, not when one is pursuing and the other is receiving. The moment you become the sole driver of the interaction, her role becomes passive by default, and once passive, initiative disappears. Many men believe that consistency builds attraction, but consistency without boundaries builds complacency. When she knows you'll be there no matter what, her mind stops assigning value to effort. This is why pulling back feels terrifying to most men. They fear losing the connection, when in reality the connection was already slipping into imbalance. Pulling back doesn't create loss, it reveals truth. When you stop initiating and allow space to exist, her mind is forced to confront something it hasn't had to face before, the possibility of absence. And absence is what activates desire if desire is real. If she's interested, her curiosity returns. She wonders what you're doing. She notices the missing good morning text. She feels the change in rhythm. And if attraction exists, she will reach out because her mind doesn't want to lose access. But if she doesn't, that silence isn't rejection, it's resolution. It tells you that her interest was conditional on your effort, not mutual investment. The mistake most men make is taking her lack of initiation as a verdict on their worth. It's not, it's feedback on the dynamic. Your value doesn't drop because she stopped texting first. The dynamic did, and dynamics can be corrected, but only if you stop feeding the imbalance. Her mind stops initiating when she senses she doesn't have to, and it starts initiating again only when effort becomes necessary. That necessity is created not through withdrawal with resentment, but through presence with boundaries. When you don't over-explain, over-pursue, or overcompensate, her mind recalibrates. She begins to reassess where she stands with you, and that reassessment is where attraction either reignites or fades permanently. Both outcomes are wins because both give you clarity. Men who understand this stop living in emotional suspense. They stop watching their phones. They stop reading into reply times. They stop tying their confidence to digital validation. And ironically, that's when women start noticing them again, not because they played a game, but because they reclaimed their center. A woman's mind is deeply attuned to emotional balance. She feels when a man is self-contained versus emotionally leaning. When she stops texting first, she's often waiting to see which one you are. Will you fold or will you stand? Will you chase familiarity or will you maintain self-respect? The men who pass this moment don't do anything dramatic. They don't announce distance. They don't demand clarity. They simply stop over-functioning. They let effort be mutual or non-existent. And in doing so, they send a message without words. I enjoy you, but I don't need you to feel whole. That message is magnetic because it removes pressure, restores polarity, and returns choice to both sides. Women chase clarity, not confusion, and clarity is created when a man's actions align with his standards. When she stops texting, her mind is not plotting against you, it's observing you. It's watching how you handle uncertainty. It's deciding whether you are emotionally sovereign or emotionally reactive. And the men who understand this don't react. They respond with calm, with boundaries, and with self-direction. They allow silence to speak, and silence always tells the truth faster than words ever could. If her interest is real, it will surface. If it's not, it will fade. Either way, you win yourself back, and that is the shift that matters most. Because the goal was never to make her text first. The goal was to become the man who doesn't lose himself when she doesn't.